Mr. Solicitor and Mr. Attorney, restoration of democracy is a very important.
No hartal, no stone pelting, no curfew.
Done in 2019. Was it really a logical step forward to achieve
Recommendation is
that?
not binding on the president. Therefore, it is recommendation. It is not concurrence.
Two ways of looking at Article 373. If the proviso can't apply, we keep 367 apart for a moment. If the proviso to Article 373 cannot apply, does that mean that the power under the substantive part of 370 is completely denuded or lost?
No. The answer will be no. I'll try to.
That's the
power is
issue
not
we have
lost.
to- And if that power is not lost, is it a unilateral power then which can be exercised by the president? What Parliament really did was this. They didn't have a constituent assembly in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. There was no constituent assembly. They were exercising this power to abrogate. They followed the 367 course, obviously, with an idea that in the absence of a constituent assembly, there's no legislative assembly in the state. You go to parliament, which in that sense represents the broad diversity of them.
Democratize the decision.
You have the Rajya Sabha, which is the Council of States,
Correct.
which represents the overall diversity of the nation. You have the Lok Sabha, which consists of elected representatives of the nation. But in that process, there's one, I wouldn't say casualty, but one dilution is the role which was ascribed by the proviso to Article 370 bracket 3. Now, that role can, as you are trying to elaborate, that role is merely recommendatory. Merely because that role is recommendatory does not mean that it can be dispensed with, because the Constitution provides for a recommendation. When a Constitution provides for a recommendation, we can't say that, well, even if there's no recommendation, that's fine, you can override it.
Constituent Assembly was dissolving itself. Last speeches were made, etc. Suppose it would have said that now in exercise of our powers under 370, sub-article 3, we recommend the President that the constitution which we have framed will provide for a semi-kind of monarchy, and now therefore you delete 370. Would it not go against the very spirit with which 370 was incorporated? That it has to be temporary and you are an integral part.
So really, in the sense, it was not a complete migration from absolute autonomy to absolute integration.
It had become a shell, my lord, as
Whether you call it a shell or not,
Gujarilal Nanda said.
it's obvious that a substantial degree of integration had already taken place in the last, between 1950 and 2009, 69 years. And therefore, what was done in 2019, was it really a logical step forward to achieve that integration?
Absolutely.
That you can take recourse to clause D of subclause D of clause 1 in a situation where you have to amend any other provision of the Constitution other than Article 370.
Lord, how?
But can you take, yes,
It doesn't say so.
it's very clear. It says
Such
of
other
the
provisions.
other provisions of this.
Other means except 1 and 370.
So you are saying such other
Yes.
provisions will include 367. Mr. Solicitor,
Yes.
all admissible just once again. That doesn't matter. Let's not.
Quite often. I think I should be accustomed to, my lord.
We are posing
Yes.
an issue because we have to deal with these issues. So we want to elicit a response.
Yes, my lord.
371D refers to other provisions of the Constitution. Other provisions of the Constitution, according to you, would include 367. Possible. We're not ruling this out at all. We'll test that hypothesis. But can you use 367
and amend 367 to bring about an amendment to 370. If you do that while exercising the power under 371D, then are you not really doing that to amend 370 itself? Because the only provision which the Constitution creates to amend 370 is 370 clause 3. What you are now doing is, according to them, is that you are using the amendment of 367, applying the provisions of 371D to bring about an amendment to 370 itself. Whereas the purpose of 371D is to amend some other provision of the Constitution. True, 367 is another provision of the Constitution, but can you use that to amend then 370 itself? That's the point which you have to answer.
Lord, I can assure my learned senior.
No, please.
No, I can assure him, nobody can disturb me or derail me without my consent. I'm quite